Hello students, I am Rajesh Kumar Singh from Divine Public School, Monapur, Gorakhpur. Let's proceed on the next chapter of the Snapshots Mother's Day by J.B. Priestley. Students, let's start on the next paragraph of Mother's Day, paragraph 8. Let's see its reading. Yours isn't. I have had all I want. Might go out later and get a square meal at the Clarendon. Doris, hardly believing her ears. Who might? Mrs. Pearson? I might. Who do you think? Doris, staring at her. Mum, what the matter with you? Mrs. Pearson, don't be silly. Doris, indignantly. It is not me that's being silly, and I must say it is a bit much when I have been working hard all day and you can't even bother to get my tea ready. Did you hear what I said about my yellow silk? Mrs. Pearson, no doubt you like it now. I never did. Doris, indignantly, of course I like it, and I am going to wear it tonight. So I want it ironed. Mrs. Pearson, want it ironed? What of? You think it's going to do iron itself? Doris, no, you are going to iron it for me. You always do. Mrs. Pearson, well, this time I don't. And don't talk rubbish to me about working hard. I have a good idea. How much you do? Doris Pearson, I put in twice the hours you do and get no wages nor thanks for it. Why are you going to wear your yellow silk? Where are you going? Doris, sulkily, out with Charlie Spence. Mrs. Pearson, why? Doris, wildly, why? Why? What's the matter with you? Why shouldn't I go out with Charlie Spence if he asks me and I want to? Any objection? Go on. You might as well tell me. Students, before starting the explanation, let us discuss few words from these paragraphs as square meal means complete food of desired. What the matter with you means what has happened to you. Indignantly means angrily, out of envy, out of resentment. This is called indignantly. Silly, that is a stupid fellow, a foolish or a senseless person. A senseless person, that is a senseless means a person who doesn't understand the things what he is speaking. He has no senses. He has no proper understanding of the things. Okay? And such people are silly people also. Rubbish means useless things. Eh? Or rubbishly means talking uselessly. Have a senseless talk. Wages, that is salary or payment, which we get at the end of a month, often at the end of a month for our works. Now, see the explanation of this paragraph. Doris asked Mrs. Pearson whether the tea is not ready. Mrs. Pearson replies that here is not. Yes, I wanted to have tea. I prepared my tea and had it. Mrs. Pearson tells Doris, her daughter, that your tea is not ready. Yes, in fact, I wanted to have my tea and I prepared it and had it. Okay, yours tea is not prepared. Yes, it is also possible. I shall go out tonight at the Hotel of Clarendon and have a square meal of my own wish there. Doris doesn't believe on her ear and asks who might go to Clarendon. Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson replies, I myself and who? Who do you think? Doris looks at Mrs. Pearson continuously as petrified and asks her, addressing as mom, what has happened to you? Mrs. Pearson advises her not to be silly. Doris, out of anger, replies, Mrs. Pearson, out of anger, replies that it is not she that is being silly. I'm sorry. Doris replies, out of anger, that it is not she that is being silly, and she must say, it is a little more when she has been working hard all day, and she, that is Mrs. Pearson, even bother or even does not, I am sorry, even does not bother or care to get her tea ready. As Doris complains to her mother, Mrs. Pearson, that she does work hard during the whole day in her office or in her working spot, and after coming back, it's something more hardship to her even if does not get her tea ready. Doris asks her mother, Mrs. Pearson, whether she heard what she had said about her yellow silk. Mrs. Pearson replies, no. She further elaborates that you don't like that it then. She never liked it. Doris, out of anger, says, of course, she likes the dress, that is the yellow silk, and she is going to wear that night. So, she, that is Doris, wanted to get it ironed. Mrs. Pearson asked her, you wanted to iron? What do you think? Your clothes are becoming ironed itself automatically? Doris surprisingly tells her, no, you are going to iron my dress for me, as she has been done it for herself. As students, Doris insists to her mother that I wanted to get my clothes ironed as you have been ironing her dress every day. Therefore she says, therefore she expects that the dress must be ironed by her. Mrs. Pearson says, I did, I did iron, but this time she is not going to iron it. Again she warns Doris that don't talk like a foolish one about your working hard. I know well how work hard you do, Doris Pearson. See, Mrs. Pearson, who is new Mrs. Pearson, speaks to Doris that don't argue about her work hard here before her, as she know very well how much work hard you do at your office. She further explains to Doris about her own work done every day without looking a single leaf, without having a single half in a week. She does not take a day leave. Every day's mother works is every day's works There is no leave, there is no off. Continuously every day, she says to Doris Pearson. Again she says, I put myself every day in work twice as you do in your office or in your working site. Yet I get Doris says angrily that she is going out with Charlie Spence. Mrs. Pearson asks why. Doris replied rudely, Why? Why? What has happened to you, mother? Why shouldn't I go out with Charlie Spence if he asks me and I want to him? Any objection? Go on. She further asked Mrs. Pearson if she has any objection, she can continue. Students, proceed on next paragraph of Mother's Day of Snapshot, paragraph 9, as let's see its reading. Surely, can't you find anybody better? I, I wouldn't be seen dead with Charlie Spence, buck teeth and half witted. Doris, he isn't. Mrs. Pearson, when I was your age, I would have found somebody better than Charlie Spence or given myself up as a bad job. Doris, nearly in tears. Oh, shut up. Doris run out laughed. Mrs. Pearson chuckles and begins putting the cards together. After a moment, Cyril Pearson enters laughed. He is the masculine counterpart of Doris. Cyril briskly, Hello, mum. Tea ready? Mrs. Pearson, No. Cyril, moving to the table, annoyed. They, why not? Mrs. Pearson, coolly, I couldn't bother. Cyril, feeling of color or something. Mrs. Pearson, never felt better in my life. Cyril, aggressively, what is the idea then? Mrs. Pearson, just a change. Cyril, briskly, well, snap out of it, ma, and get cracking. Haven't too much time. Cyril is about to go when Mrs. Pearson's wife checks him. Mrs. Pearson, I have plenty of time. Cyril, yes, but I haven't. Got a busy night today. Tonight. Got a busy night tonight. Moving L to the door. Did you put my things out? Mrs. Pearson, coolly. Can't remember, but I doubt it. Cyril, moving to the table, protesting. Now look, when I asked you this morning, you promised. You said you'd have to look through them first in case there was any mending. Mrs. Pearson, yes, well now I have decided I don't like mending. Cyril, that's a nice way to talk. What would happen if we all talked like that? Students, before starting the explanation of this paragraph, let us discuss few words. Though there are many words, they should be explained. As buck, buck means deer. As buck means if it is used for male animal, then it is a male deer or rabbit. Buck is used for male deer or rabbit. Here Mrs. Pearson, newly Mrs. Pearson, explains that Charlie Spence has buck teeth. Students, you might have seen the teeth of the rabbit, two front teeth of the rabbit, how funny they look. Okay, you can compare with the teeth of Shaktiman, who is in the role of Gangadhara. Okay? Who is in the role of Gangadhar, and his teeth appears very funny. And in this way, she marks the personality of her lover, her friend, or you can say lover, Charlie Spence. Severely, that is adverb, very badly, are to a great defense. Okay, I am said to great degree. Severely means very badly or to a great degree. For example, a severely damaged, okay, building. A severely damaged building or a severely disease, or it severely disabled. In a strict way, parents don't punish their children so severely these days. When the word severely is used in strict sense, then we can use like this. Nowadays, parents don't punish their children so severely these days. Counterpart, very good word. Counterpart means someone or something that has the same job or same purpose as someone or something else has in different places. Here, Doris Pearson, a spoiled daughter of Pearson's family, as the author mentions here, as Doris Pearson as a spoiled daughter. Here, Sarah Pearson, the counterpart of Doris Pearson, a male counterpart of Doris Pearson, means they have the same characteristics. There is no difference between their work, between their notions, between their characteristics. Only difference is of one is masculine and next is feminine. That is the difference of their gender. As counterpart, let I use this word in my sentence. Belgium officials are discovering, Belgium officials are discussing this with their French counterparts. Again, Belgium Belgian officials are discussing this with their French counterparts. And other words are also, they should be explained, but I will do while explanation I can make clear to you. I think there should be no problem as mending, to mend the things, and briskly means very smartly, very actively. Let I explain the paragraph. Mrs. Pearson, in a strong tone, surely means in a very strong tone, replies in a mood of interrogation whether she could not find a better person as a friend or match. She counters, Mrs. Pearson counters to Doris that, and her counter is very in strong tone, whether she could not find a better match or better person than Charlie Spence, as her mother Mrs. Pearson would not like to see that young man Charlie Spence even at the end of her life, that is death, as Charlie Spence is youth of ugly look, a man with buck teeth, a man who possesses teeth like a rabbit or a deer, and a stupid like half-witted madman. are a half-witted person like a madman. Darius, Darius counters that he is not as she thinks. At this point of discussion, Mrs. Pearson gives the example of her own likeness. She says that if she were of her age, she would have found a better or somebody better than Charlie Spence. If not, then she would have given up herself as a bad job. Hearing like this from her mother, Doris gets hurt. Her feelings. Dory gets her feelings hurt and exclaims her mother to shut up. Doris has run out from the left. Mrs. Pearson laughs and starts putting the chords together. After a while, Cyril Pearson. After a while, Cyril Pearson from the left enters. He is the masculine counterpart of Doris Pearson. As I have told, he is a masculine counterpart of Doris Pearson. Cyril, in a hurry, asks his mother whether whether the tea is ready. Mrs. Pearson replies in negative. Cyril moves towards the table and asks why not. Mrs. Pearson replies cool-mindedly that she did not mind it. Okay? Cyril asks her whether she does not feel well, better, she does not feel better, or she does not feel well, or has some other reason, or has some other problems. Mrs. Pearson replies that she has never felt better in her life. At this, Cyril gets annoyed and asks her in an aggressive tone, what is her further idea? Mrs. Pearson replies her son that a change in behavior, a change in her getting treated, just a change. Cyril asks her mother smartly to leave the things. Cyril asks his mother to leave the things and do the things fast as he has no time. Cyril is about to go when Mrs. Pearson Weiss stops him. She says to him, I have a lot of time. Cyril counters her that yes, she might have. B. She might have. He haven't. He has got some busy work that night. He goes to the door and he asks her whether she had put his things out ready. Mrs. Pearson replies him cool-mindedly in a ignoring tone that she could not remember, but I doubt that Cyril moves towards the table in protesting temperament. Okay? I doubt that Cyril moves towards the table in protesting temperament and asks her to look down the dress. He further tells her that when he asked that morning, she promised him she promised him to do the work. He reminds her that she had told her that she would have to look through them first in case there was any mending work. Mrs. Pearson replies that she promised, but now had decided that she does not like mending. Cyril gets surprised and urges Mrs. Pearson that it's a nice way to talk like this. He further discusses her mother Her, I am sorry, discusses her, Mrs. that is Mrs. Pearson, that what would happen if we all talked like that.